everyone. Okay, just how to use your watercolour palettes rather than the watercolour pencils. So you'll have your nice little palettes here. Some of them might be dirty. The yellow might have a bit of green on it or things like that. I'll show you how to clean them up so that they're ready to use. The students can also learn how to clean their paint palettes so that if mixed colours are a bit grubby, they can have a nice fresh palette to work with. So you have two different types of brushes, your thin, small watercolour brushes and a medium, thicker sized watercolour brush. It depends the area. Bigger the area, the bigger brushes cover more but have nice tips. And the smaller brushes, like these little ones, are great for smaller areas. So what we're going to work on is the same idea with the watercolour pencils. Dip it, wipe it, tap it, and then you can start to paint. I'm just using A4 size, but obviously the Year 2 students will have A3 size paper. So dip it, wipe it, tap it, reiterate that to them, and then selecting your colours. So I'm going to go with a purple colour. The idea is when you're using a palette, they need to swirl their brush like this. If they start scratching it like this, their brush is going to be messy and give a really messy, uneven coat. They like to do that. You'll also notice when the paint dries out, they forget they have water and it starts scratching. So it's really important to dip it, wipe it, tap it, swirl it. My rule is that they don't have swimming pools. So swimming pools means either on the paper or in the paint. They don't have any of this. You can demonstrate this to the students. There should be no swimming pools. If this happens, they're going to need a tissue or something. I'm just going to wipe it away with my finger at the moment. Okay? And this paint's really safe on the skin that comes off with water. So no swimming pools allowed. Swirl the brush. When it's full, if it's too wet, they can wipe it. And they can start to use the tip of the brush like this. The tip of the brush, keeping in the lines, almost like the watercolour pencils, but you're painting with the brush this time. And it's with water. What happens if you go over the same area with water too much? The paper will tear. So it's just the same as the watercolour pencils. Dip it, wipe it, tap it, swirl it, spread it, keeping in the lines, keeping control. I don't need to add more water, I can just keep swirling, there's a lot of water there. And if you want to spread or get a lighter shade of purple, then you empty it out and you can spread the colour. You can see here that it's lighter. So if they want a light pink, they're going to add pink, use a little bit of water, and the more water will diffuse the paint so that you can spread it, get the colour shade you want. They can maybe practice that in their books, have a watercolour shade practice, and use the palettes different to the watercolour pencils. So just a nice way to extend that knowledge. And as they go, they can keep painting, being as careful as they can. If at the end they go over black lines, maybe when it's dry, you want to go over that in permanent marker again to bring out those dark lines. Otherwise, just enjoy that. Make sure not too much water. And if they want a lighter shade, so if they've got pink here, swirl it. If it's really dark and they want it a bit lighter, more water, dip it, wipe it, tap it, and you will get a lighter shade of pink rather than a darker shade. Okay. So play with that. Have fun. Good luck.